Yeah, you drink that tea, Roger. Welcome back to another spectacular episode of the Bush League Huddle Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Fab. I'm joined by my two exceptional co-hosts, Raj and Nak. And guys, wow. What a wild card week. We saw some unexpected upsets. The Texans rolling over the Chargers 31-12. And some more expected ones like the Rams cruising over the Vikings 27-9. I guess you can take the player out of the Jets, but you just can't take the Jets out of the player. Am I right?
You've seen ghosts.
Yeah, I was just going to say
you've seen ghosts? Geez, I wonder how much Sam Darnold lost in the last two games, huh?
It's pretty bad. Pretty
bad from a monetary standpoint. Anyways, the Commanders also took care of business versus the Bucks. But that one was a bit of a nail-biter, especially in the last 4 minutes. Baker's costly fumble really made life a little bit easier for Jayden, who I think, I don't know if we can call him a rookie anymore after that performance. By all accounts, it was a great weekend, for sure, for sports, for NFL. But before we dive into this week's episode, we wanted to take a quick minute to thank each and every one of our loyal listeners for your constant support and engagement. And please, please, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to all of our social media. Even though the fantasy season is over, we'll continue to post content and engage with you guys for sure. And here we go. Here we are to preview the best weekend of the entire NFL season. Get hype, everyone. Put down that A.J. Brown Book Club read of the week, and let's get you guys primed for an excellent weekend of some top-tier games. We're gonna kick this off right away. We're gonna get right into it right now. Nak, we're going to start off with you. We have a beautiful, wonderful divisional round weekend starting off on Saturday. We got the Chiefs versus the Texans. The Chiefs are favored by 8.5 points. The over-under is 42. Nak, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, just quickly on the, just running back to that A.J. Brown book club. I was actually in Philly this week for work, and I was sitting at our hotel bar for a drink before we went for dinner. And we were speaking with the lady, and we saw it on TV. It popped up like him reading the book and whatever, and we totally forgot we were in Philly for a second, and we were like making fun of it. Me and my boss, and the bartender right away came to like jumped at it. She heard us talking about it, and she's like, "Oh, the media, they have to make a whole big deal. He's had this book all year. He's been reading it all year on the sidelines. He's like, now all of a sudden, apparently, I don't know. I didn't reference whatever it was, but she really came to the defense, and it was just like, oh yeah, we're in Philly. These people care about their Eagles, right? You got to watch what you say." And it was just funny. It was just like, nah, he reads his book every week. He always has it. It's not the first time, and all that stuff. So I thought that was
great publicity.
Quite funny.
Yeah, great publicity
for that.
Apparently that book like sold out or something after that. It was like
jumped number one on Amazon for like
it was crazy. It was crazy. But I digress. So yes, the Chiefs and Texans on Saturday. So I think the Texans actually had probably one of their best games of the season last week versus the Chargers. As you mentioned, Fab, it was pretty unexpected. I think we were all on the Chargers last week, as well as many people. However, they've been really inconsistent all season. They beat the Bills way back at home, way back in Week 5, but they've also lost to the Titans and the Jets. And I don't know, man. Death, taxes, and Mahomes and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. I just think that it's inevitable. They've had 24 days of rest, and are the healthiest they've been all season. I think not the starters, should I say, have had 24 days of rest. I'm taking the points due to the fact that they have not really blown out anyone besides maybe the Steelers on Christmas Day. But yeah, give me the points, but the Chiefs to win the game, and they've won 15 straight one-score games. So I'm definitely taking the Chiefs to win, but I'll take the points. The Texans really surprised me on defense last week. As far as my prop bet, I have Travis Kelce 60 plus yards at plus 130. I think that's great value for Saturday.
Yeah, Travis Kelce in the playoffs is money, right? So I don't think that's hard to argue against that. And just to go back to the Houston's defense, right? I mean that Justin Herbert threw 4 picks last week.
Yes,
and
one more than he did all season.
I thought it was 3. Was it
Nope,
3?
four.
It was 4.
Four.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Four
got to give
picks.
credit to Houston's defense, but I don't think they're going to have the same type of week.
Stingley, man, that guy is
Yep.
a baller.
Stingley, Will Anderson Jr.,
Yeah, man.
Daniel Hunter. So yeah, Texans have played the Chiefs tough the past 2 games. 6-point loss, and I believe it was 6-point loss in 2022, and I believe it was an 8-point loss this year. And as I just mentioned, Stingley, Will Anderson, Daniel Hunter. I think they're going to have a massive impact against the Chiefs. But again, it's hard not to trust Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed. I'd say the keys to this game. I think Stroud will have to win the game for the Texans because we know how Joe Mixon has not been running very well lately. And can the Texans win the turnover battle? I think that's the key. I feel like
Yeah.
Stroud is due for he's always due for 1 or 2 interceptions per game. And to beat the Chiefs, you're gonna have to win a turnover battle. So for me, it's Texans plus 8.5, but similar to Knack, I'm gonna take Chiefs money line. At least considering Houston has played a lot better recently. And in terms of the prop bet, CJ Stroud 20 rushing yards plus 160. Stroud had 23 rushing yards against KC in the previous matchup and 42 last week against the Chargers. So I think he's bailing out of the pocket if he's starting to see the rush a bit more lately because of the Texans O line.
Yeah, I like that prop bet a lot. So I'm for in my case here, I got Mahomes is 13-5 against the spread for his career in the postseason, including 9-5 as a favorite. The Chiefs are completely rested and ready for a very late postseason run, like usual, I suppose. Andy Reid is also 20-12 at the spread with 13 plus days of rest between games. So I don't know. I like the Chiefs to cover on this one. Actually, I really think they're going to they're going to win by, I don't know, 2 touchdowns, I would say. I like this one a lot. And for my prop bet this week, I have Dalton Schultz over 36.5 receiving yards, paying minus 110. I'm seeing a lot of Dalton Schultz when CJ Stroud gets hurried and in the pocket. And the last week he had a very nice game too against the Chargers. So I think this bet comes in pretty nicely. But I guess we're kind of split on this one, eh? Like, you guys think the Texans are going to be able to beat the spread? I don't know.
Just because they played them close, and the defense has been. I feel like the Texans have played better lately. Similar to what Knack said, like I was actually surprised at not just the win, but how they play it as well. And again, the defense was fantastic against the Chargers.
Like I said, I just go back to, I know playoffs. It's record is it's
You
swiped
throw it out
clean,
the
but
window a little bit,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But I mean, they didn't kill anyone this year. Like, they never really beat anyone consistently by 9 points. So that's what leads me to take the points here. I think the spread is a little bit too high. I think if it was closer to 6.5, I'd be more eager to jump on it. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think besides the Steelers, they didn't really beat anyone by 14 points this year. It was really, look, there are 15 straight one score games that they've won, so they're always pretty close. And I think, personally, I think the trend continues.
All right. I guess we're going to find out this weekend. We're going to move on to the next game where we have the Lions versus the Commanders. The Lions are favored by 9.5 points. The over-under is 55.5. Nak, how you feeling about this one?
Man, I don't remember divisional weekend having such high spreads, like almost across the board. It's like, it's crazy to see. Usually, okay, wildcard weekend you do see them because it's there's a there's a difference between the teams at the top and the teams at the
Yes.
bottom, but it's super weird in divisional round. Um, Look, with all their injuries on the defensive side of the ball, I feel like the spread is a little too high, and especially since the Commanders were able to beat the league's third best offense in Tampa Bay a week ago. And per Evan Abrams, home teams in the divisional round coming off a bye are 33, 42, and 1 against the spread since 2003. Additionally, they're 17, 24, and 1 as a favorite of 7 or more after a bye. And even versus a team playing in its second straight postseason road game, the team coming off the bye is 15, 22, and 1 against the spread. So I think you know where I'm going with this. I definitely like the Lions to win, but I'm also taking the points in this one. Give me the 9.5. I think Jayden Daniels keeps it close. I think it's going to be the battle of who converts the most fourth down conversions. I think both teams are going to be going for these things. You have Cliff Kingsbury on one side and Ben Johnson on the other, who always like to go for it on fourth down. So I think if Daniels can steal some possessions from away from the Lions, I think they can keep the number pretty close. And my prop bet for this one's going to be Jayden Daniels over 22.5 passing completions, and that's minus 115.
I think it's going to be a great OC matchup. I love that call, the Ben Johnson, Cliff Kingsbury aspect. For me, first of all, when thinking who to pick in this matchup, can the Commanders stop the Lions running game? Because we know how Goff feasts off that from a play action perspective. And to your point, Knack, can the Commanders make the Lions play 3-down football? If it gets to 3rd and 11, and then in 4th and short, how much 4th and short, 4th and 5, 4th and 7? At what point will Dan Campbell go for it? Because that is a killer for teams when you're able to stop them on 4th down. Dan Campbell's just like, I don't care, I'm going for it, even on his own 20-yard line, right? So, I feel the Commanders will keep it close. To your point, Knack, again, they've won 6 straight by a touchdown or less. And a key stat that I found on PFF, Detroit is first in man coverage rate at 45% and second in blitz rate at 35%. Daniels, his passing efficiency is in the 19th in those situations. But if they blitz that much and they play man, he is going to run like hell. He will scramble many, many times. So for me, from a prop bet perspective, I have Jayden Daniels 60 yards plus 120. And I don't know, man, like there's something about him. I heard Micah Parsons say it too. I'm going money line Lions. I know it's crazy. But like the way he's playing, the moxie he has, there's something about.
Wait, you mean Commanders money line? You're going?
Sorry, Commanders money line. Yeah, Commanders money line. I'm going. I'm picking. It's a gut feeling. It's probably stupid, but I'm going to put money on the Commanders winning outright because the way Jayden's playing, man, it's I think it's a bit of destiny with him.
I know a rookie has never won the Super Bowl, but has a rookie been to the Super Bowl? I don't think so either, right?
Ben Roethlisberger?
No. The AFC Championship, they lost to the Patriots.
That's the only one I can think of memory.
Yeah, I know that. I thought about it, and it was his second year where he made the Super Bowl.
Brock Purdy, no?
Rookie? No.
Rex Grossman?
I don't think he was a rookie. No, Brock Purdy, I think it was his second year. They lost. Remember he got injured and they lost. Who'd they lose to? We were in Buffalo, Fab, actually, to watch the Dolphins. That was his rookie year. Remember they almost had McCaffrey like throwing the ball. He came in and he wasn't throwing against the Eagles. They lost against the Eagles. Yes. It was the Eagles KC Super Bowl.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I know to your point, to stop the running game, David Montgomery is off the injury report, and he's playing. So another weapon to that offense that they get back, the Lions.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with you guys. I do think this game is going to go back and forth from like one possession to the next. I think the Lions D is a little bit decimated despite being rested, and the Commanders have proven that they can go punch for punch. I like the Commanders to beat the spread here, but I think the Lions have had the number 1 in the league in points per game, number 2 in yards per game, number 3 in expected points per attempt per game. I don't see the Lions losing this game at all. I do think the Commanders are going to beat the spread though. As far as my prop bet is concerned, I'm taking the over 55.5 points. It's paying minus 110. Nice little stat for you guys. Indoor postseason overs are 36 and 18 since 2003.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
That's a cute little nugget there. So yeah, I'm the over sounds really nice to me, and I think this can really go back and forth. So
I definitely like it more now.
Yeah. This is going to be my. I'm really looking forward to this game, apart from the one on Sunday night that we're going to get to. But before we get to that one, we got the Rams at the Eagles. Eagles are favored by 6 points. Over under is 44. The surging Rams. Knack, who you got for this one?
Yeah, so I think the Rams are one of the hottest teams in the league down the stretch. From going from potentially trading Cooper Kupp at the deadline to riding a 5-game winning streak, minus the week 18 where they rested their starters, to a playoff win versus a 14-win team. The defensive front led by Kobe Turner and Jared Verse is a problem. Those guys are dogs. If you guys look at the list of who they've drafted in the last couple of years, they've hit on some huge players. They have playmakers all over the yard. If they can limit Saquon Barkley's output, because as we know, they like to run him into the ground, they have a real shot of not only covering but winning straight up. They are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games, and Matthew Stafford is 18-3 straight up in December, January, and February, as a member of the Rams. I also just found out recently that Kellen Moore is set to interview for the Cowboys head coaching job ahead of this game. So strange that Philly would actually let him do that, but I think very strange timing with a big game coming up, and I think that's going to be really talked about in Philly if they lose this game, where his focus has been, especially interviewing, not only interviewing for a job, but interviewing for a division rival job, head coaching job. So I found that to be very strange. I didn't even think they were allowed
I
Yeah,
thought
that's
the
what I
league
was going
to
to say.
interview.
I
I thought
wasn't
the league
sure
was
they were
stepping
allowed.
in and doing something about this because it's been an issue over the past few years. I found.
Yeah, but I thought that they weren't allowed, or like
Yeah,
teams will step in and say like,
yeah,
no, there's a
that's what I
game
thought
to
too.
there's a game to
Yeah,
coach. Like, why are you going to
but
interview in the
it's such
middle of
a
the week?
it's such an unnecessary distraction, even for like Ben Johnson, right? Has been his name is flying around all over social medias and all over the news about being interviewed for this head coaching job and that head coaching job. And I'm like, do you really want to have that conversation now? Do you really want to entertain these discussions now when you're in a postseason run and you're part of a team that can actually make it to the big dance and win
Yeah,
the whole thing? Like I don't see the benefit in having those conversations and that distraction. I really don't.
Well, I mean, look, for the teams that were on bye, you don't even know your opponent yet, so it's tough to even come up with a game plan. So I don't see it as a huge problem then. But you're telling me that this guy is going to go interview on Friday or Saturday ahead of a game that he's going to play on Sunday?
is it in
Like,
person?
that I'm not sure. I just heard that it was confirmed today that he has a meeting with the Cowboys. So it's either Friday or Saturday. So
It's
I think,
definitely in person because there's no way Jerry Jones knows how to use Zoom.
yeah,
That's true.
good call on that one.
Yeah, but then what's going to
Um,
happen to Deion Sanders though? Isn't he going to get the job?
No, he's staying in Colorado.
yeah, I don't think you
Oh,
won.
yeah.
How do you want an 11-13 coach being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
What?
Isn't he? He's what, like 11-13 or 13-11? Like his record in college is not exactly.
12 and I think it's 12 and 13.
Oh, there it
Yeah, but
is.
like the first year was like a rebuilding year. Like
Still, it's not as if he has a ridiculous
Well, I
acumen.
mean, look, Colorado's not like, hey, I'm gonna go to Colorado. It's
also
not like,
Raheem Morris was like 29 and was like 29 and like 40 when he got the Falcons job. So
yeah. Well, let's.
what's your prop bet, Knack? Anyways,
Yeah. Well, look, I'm definitely gonna take. I'm taking the points once again here. I like the Rams +6. And my prop bet is Jalen Hurts 1+ INT at +140.
you think they'll let him throw that much that he'll even get a 19?
Well, I think that my thing is they're probably gonna try to limit Barkley, and I think they do, with the defense playing like they're playing, and with that, he's gonna have to throw.
Yeah.
And a
So
nice matchup to look forward to is Cooper DeJean versus Cooper Cup, two white boys going at it.
I think he's good. I've read that he's. I don't know if he shadows, but obviously I see him more on Nakua because just the impact he has,
Mm,
the physicality, the way Puka plays, way more
mm,
physical.
mm.
On my side, to that point, Knack, Eagles, the last time they played the Rams, which was just a few weeks ago, they absolutely bludgeoned them 37-20.
Dominated.
Saquon ran for 255 yards. I agree that the Rams defense has been much better, but that history aspect, I think, is really key. So, in terms of how the Vikings defense played against the Vikings offense played against the Rams. I trust Sirianni and Kellen Moore more than KOC in this instance. I feel like they know who they are as an offensive team, and they're gonna focus more on Saquon Barkley versus I felt KOC tried to really throw the ball more with Sam Darnold, which did not work at all. So I think one of the keys is, can the Rams force Eagles into third and long situations, and to your point, put the onus on Jalen Hurts to actually win the game for them, and also the Rams, they run the third most zone in the league. And I've said this many times on this pod, and I've talked to you guys about it. Hurts versus man coverage is a different QB versus Hurts. Again, versus Hurts and zone. So against man, he's second in yards per attempt, third in QBR, third in completion percentage. But against zone, he's 26th in success rate this year against zone. So to me, I've said this many times. It's the same with Russell Wilson. If you want to beat Hurts, if you want to make him confused, do not play as little man as possible against him. And then maybe the one more key is Stafford versus play action. So Stafford has a 90 plus PFF grade on play action over the last 2 years, and the Eagles are allowing the fewest yards per play against play action. So that's one more key in this game. Ultimately, I think the Rams, they're not going to be able to stop Barkley. They're not going to be able to make Hurts throw the ball as much as he wants to. And for me, I'm going to take Eagles -6. They have the third best point differential in the league this year, 9.6. It's nuts.
And what's your prop bet?
Dallas Goddard anytime TD +300.
Dallas Goddard.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
he had a sick TD last week.
That angry run last week was nice.
I think he won. He won the angry
run. Good. He should have definitely.
Week, I think
definitely worth winning. Yep. So I'm seeing a trend here for the Eagles. Run the hell out of Barkley and don't let Hurts throw all that much. I think it's a recipe for success, and I see that repeating. Eagles were also one of the two teams to pick up a real win versus the Rams late in the season, like we just mentioned, stretch where they won. The Rams won 8 of the last 11 games. Mind you, Week 18 was a bit of a meaningless game, but still. Hurts, you can tell, is off, but I mean, the Eagles' depth and line play is good enough to get the win here, but I don't think they cover. So I'm going to take the Rams over here, Rams +6. And my prop bet for the week is Barkley, 130 rushing yards, paying +180. I think the game is won and lost through Barkley. So I see them running him into the ground, quite frankly. I think he's going to get a lot of usage on this playoff run.
They were another funny tidbit from the 76ers game. They were, when they lost and everyone was leaving, everyone was yelling, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying, like, at least we have the Eagles who are good, you know?
Yeah, Sixers are a dumpster fire, man.
Yeah, the Sixers are going to be good for a long time.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to what is most likely being called the game of the week, potentially even the game of the playoffs, quite frankly. Kind of sucks we're getting this matchup in the divisional round, but such is life. The Ravens at the Bills. The Ravens are favored by 1 point. The over-under on this one is 51.5. Snowy conditions and very cold conditions are expected with the lake effect, as they call it in Buffalo. So this is going to be a very, very interesting game. Nak, what do you got?
I don't understand how the Ravens gained 2 points. I think that the Bills opened up as -1. I was 1 point favorite, so it was kind of real. But they're underdogs at home. It's going to be cold, and as you said, they're calling for snow in the forecast and a formula that favors the Bills. One thing is for certain: the NFL wins. That's for sure. We get the front runners for MVP on an evening playoff game. And I think Peter Schrager was one who said this on Good Morning Football. The winner should win MVP on the spot. They should award it to him on the 50-yard line after the game. This is going to be a hell of a game. The Bills are going to have to limit Derrick Henry if they have any chance, and make sure he does not do what he did to them at the beginning of the season when he ran for 199 yards. The Ravens also have a good run D, so the Bills are going to have to find creative ways to get Cook the ball. This is going to be going back and forth, and it may come down to who has the ball last. And I think key factor here is, the absence of Zay Flowers may have not been missed last week against the Steelers, but I think he's going to be surely missed Sunday when they're going to be needing a big play. So, man, you're giving me Buffalo at home with points. I'll take the points and get ready for another Mahomes Allen fight in the AFC Championship. And as far as my prop bet goes, give me Khalil Shakir 6+ receptions for that's paying +130.
I like that one a lot. I think the history, I'm not sure how much we could take into account that first game because a lot of the Bills players were indeed injured. And this one's so tough because I just hate the fact that we're going to hear from ESPN and all the talking heads, even if both players have amazing games, We're going to hear how one of them is a dog. One of them sucks. We're going to hear the narratives about Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. But for me, the keys, you mentioned it, Knack. Can they stop Derrick Henry? 199 rushing yards in the previous meeting. The Bills, however, they've had a really strong run game with Cook, obviously with Allen, with Ray Davis, and even Ty Johnson. But we know how good the Ravens are stout against the run. I think for me, one of the key aspects is which ancillary running back will make key plays in the passing game. So Cook or Johnson or Justice Hill. Justice Hill had, I believe, 78 receiving yards in the previous game, and the Bills are giving up 42.5 receiving yards per game to running backs this season. And of course, which QB is going to be Superman? We know Allen and Lamar, they're amazing out of structure. They're amazing on the run. They're amazing rushing. Which defense is going to be able to curb them from getting outside the pocket and making extended plays? So I think this is obviously the toughest game to call. It's the game of the week. I like the Ravens money line. I expect Allen and Lamar to have monster games. I think it's going to come down to the last second. And prop bet, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just don't take the Steelers formula for stopping Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, please. Don't do what they did. Yeah. Just do the exact opposite of what they did.
Yeah, exactly. Prop bet Justice Hill 50 plus rushing and receiving yards pays plus 260. Again, he had 78 receiving yards.
That's cute.
Last game.
Yeah,
that's cute.
That's a great prop bet. I like that a lot. Yeah, well, same thing with me. I mean, the Ravens obviously have a very good D, but then, last week the Broncos did too, and then look what Josh Allen did to them, right? I mean, Allen is playing lights out, even though he'll likely lose the MVP, I think. But that's just my opinion. I think he wins here where it counts and goes to the AFC Championship game, was probably the most important thing for him anyways. Run game will be crucial, like you guys mentioned, but I do think the Bills win and take this one at home. We're going to see another Mahomes versus Josh Allen rematch, which is going to be very, very exciting. And for my prop bet, I have Bateman, Rashad Bateman, anytime TD plus 137. He's been, Zay Flowers out, I kind of like this a lot more. And he's always seems to be, looked at from Lamar Jackson in the red zone. So that's my prop bet for the week. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to watching this game definitely more than any other ones, but it's the best weekend of football, man. Like they got some nice matchups all across the board here. Rams and Eagles is going to be a sneaky good one, I feel. Lions and Commanders can be super high scoring. The only one that's like more meh is the Chiefs versus the Texans, but you never know. Houston can make life very difficult for Patrick Mahomes.
I'm really tired of the Texans making the playoffs.
They're in that division.
That division is just terrible.
Their wildcard games are boring. They are always at home. I feel like they're at home every single year. They're always playing on the first Saturday game.
It's always Saturday at 4:30.
It was at 4:30.
Always 4:30. Yeah. Always 4:30. And look, they're playing Saturday again at 4:30. It's kind of funny. But did you guys see that the NFL may look into using a win percentage for the top four seeds?
I hope they don't do that.
I think it would be it would make the division games meaningless, right? Like, what would be the point of a division game anymore?
Another thing I heard someone say is that teams build their rosters to win the division.
Of course.
What ends up happening is you have different styles of teams depending on the division, right? Like we all know the AFC North is more like black and blue, whatnot. So you're going to lose that aspect if you change that where division winners don't matter. I hate that. I really don't want to.
I don't
stop
like
changing
that
stuff.
I'm super against that for sure. Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, hopefully it doesn't happen. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for us. So thanks for sticking around for another episode of the Bush League Huddle Fantasy Football Podcast. Once again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to all of our social medias. Please, please, please download and listen to our episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Enjoy the games this weekend. I'm going to be parked in front of my TV on my couch all weekend, that's for sure. And as always, thank you for spending your time with us. I'm Fab, he's Raj, that's Snack with the mustache. We are out. Cue the music.
Sorry for the delay.
You know what I really like about divisional is Sunday games are 3 and 6:30.
Yeah, the 6:30 one.
It's so much better.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. Also, I don't believe for a second that AJ Brown was reading that book the entire season. I don't believe that for a second.
We got another one.
We got a double. We got a double.
It's like 2Q the musics. I don't believe.
2Q the musics. I put it in infinity.
That's fine.
Nice.
Go Bills. Go Bills.
Josh Allen.
Go Bills. Go Bills. Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Peace
guys.
out.
Goodbye.